Hey, this is Mike. Welcome to the Wandering Minds podcast.
I am Mickey, and today we have Garrett.
Yes,
Garrett,
thank you for having me.
What's up, buddy? So I've known you since you were a little kid.
Yeah.
Since you were young. I don't even know how long it's been, but you were probably at that young age still taller than me.
Yeah.
Probably. So anyways, first off, thank you for reaching out and coming on. You told me I think you commented on the reel that Mickey made about one of the dreams that I had.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and you said you've been dealing with, you've had one of the scariest experiences with sleep paralysis you've ever had and night terrors.
Yeah.
So I want to know all about that type of stuff.
Yeah. No, it was actually kind of crazy the way I found you guys because we've started a podcast ourselves. So the biggest gripe I have with it is the audio, which is like, I love what we have, the content, whatever. It's just the way it sounds, I'm not a fan of. Yeah. And so I was kind of complaining to my wife about it. And she's like, well, have you seen Mike's podcast? I'm like, no, I didn't even know he had a podcast. Yeah. And so I went on Instagram. The very first thing I saw was that reel.
Oh, okay.
And I watched it and it was talking about your sleep, I guess hallucination or
whatever.
It's not really, they're not even nightmares. They're just like experiences. And so I saw that. I'm like, okay, I need to comment because this is like perfect timing.
Yeah.
And then, you reached out and I'm here. But
yeah, cool. Well, okay, let's pause real quick. Sure. Tell us about your podcast.
Yeah, a couple buddies and I started this thing called 541 Sports. Just the idea is we get together every Saturday, drink some beer in the backyard, and talk about the upcoming sports. Mostly geared towards football right now. Okay, season, right? Yeah, exactly. Fantasy football, college, but just about anything.
Okay. Do you guys have an Instagram or anything like that?
Yeah, it's just at 541 Sports.
Okay. Yep. Cool. So people can follow you. People can get on. And cool. So you talk about audio, so we'll help you out with that. We'll gear you in the right direction. Obviously, you've already mentioned that you ordered a good sound machine, which is good. Are you guys on any type of platforms?
So we're on Instagram, which is the big one. We have TikTok. We've got YouTube, which ideally you want everyone to go to YouTube. Yeah. Because from what I've heard, that's where
monetary.
Exactly. Yeah. That's where it's the best money.
Yeah. What about Spotify?
We're just starting Spotify, but I think where we thrive is the being able to see it.
Yeah. Yeah. So, the visual.
Because like I was mentioning, the audio is not up to par yet. So I think once we get that under control, we'll focus in on doing everything. Yeah. But until now, it's mostly video related.
Cool. Yeah. Cool. Well, Mickey and I will talk to you a little bit more. She's the brains behind all that. After the show or whatever. Anyways, okay. So let's get to the dirt. Let's get to the good stuff.
So the first recollection I have, or the first memory I have about having one of these hallucinations was I would have had to have been younger than 11 because I was at my childhood home, which when my parents split, we moved from there. So I was younger than 11. I remember waking up in my bed and looking at the foot of my bed, and I could just see the shadows on. So I had my bed, I had a sun bench, closet. So at the bottom of the right closet, I could just see these little figures moving, almost the size of toys, or from what I remember, it was these little gnomes. Okay. And so it was pretty innocent back in the day. Yeah. And then that was the only thing I remember. And I just remember being terrified, sitting there, frozen in sleep. And that was it. And then it was quiet for years and years and years. And it really ramped up when I moved into my second house. Okay. So my wife and I got a house when we moved out of, when we got out of high school. And I had extremely vivid dreams. Okay. Like lucid dreams. Not quite lucid because I can never control them. Gotcha. Obviously that's the goal. Yeah. We would love to get to the point where we can just fly and do all that stuff. Yeah. But it was always, I can never control it. And it was always through my eyes. But like I said, the first house, it wasn't quite to that point. It was just innocent, The one memory I have of the first house, she woke up and I was standing in the corner getting ready to go to the bathroom. Yeah. And she's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, wow, I don't know. But in my mind, I was in the woods peeing behind a truck. Really? And so, like I said, it was pretty innocent then. Yeah. Once I had, and this is where I think the big change was, once I had my kids, I've got 2 boys. Once I became a father, I think that changed everything for me. The stress, the anxiety, everything just ramped up through the roof. And then I started having these extreme hallucinations. I would say probably 1 to 3 times a week.
Really?
Yeah. Like, it was extremely bad.
Now, were they all like extremely bad? All obviously implies they were scary.
Very.
Okay.
And this was when we moved into our second house, because we got pregnant with our son Grayson in our first house, and then when we moved to the second, we had him in the second home.
Okay.
And yeah, after then, it was like it turned from being more innocent to more like I would consider it like demonic.
Really?
Yeah. Like I would wake up and I would just see these figures, like almost like demon. Like if you could just see like a demon in the flesh. Yeah. And you would look at it and it would just start crawling up the walls.
What?
And
now you're sober.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. So it's not, well, I got to make that, I got to obviously point
that's a fair question.
That is a fair question.
No, that's fair. Yeah, 100% sober. This was like I said, 1 to 3 times a week.
Wow.
And it was slightly different. Like it wasn't the same creature or whatever. And it's just so hard to break reality from that, because I'm not in the woods going to the bathroom anymore. I'm looking through my eyes, seeing my room, seeing my bathroom, everything. So are you awake in these moments? Do you know, or are you in sleep? I'm conscious, but I'm asleep. So I've done research since then, and there's these things called like hypnagogic hallucinations or hypnopomp. I don't know which one's which. Yeah. One is you're hallucinating while you're falling asleep. One's you're hallucinating while you're waking up. So I don't know exactly which one I was having. Yeah. But every time I just feel like I'm conscious, like I know where I'm at. I'm not scared. Like I don't know where I'm at. Yeah. But yeah, it's just the trippiest feeling. And it sounds like that's kind of what you had, right? Like you were looking through your eyes. I was seeing through my eyes, and I was seeing from multiple angles. So I was like, I felt like I was in my body, but at the same time, I felt like I was out of body viewing everything. Okay. So you were looking on top of your room, down on yourself. Everywhere. Yeah. From different angles. Wow. So, which was the weirdest thing. Now, this entity that I saw, and I think I may have forgotten to mention, it didn't seem, I wasn't scared. It wasn't like it was trying to freak me out, but it had this smile on its face that just was like, I don't know. Mm-hmm. It was just the weirdest thing. So it sounds to me like our entities are definitely different. Your motherfucker's slithering across the wall. Yeah. And that was, I would see something similar, but it was a lot of the times it was something different. Okay. When I kind of reached my breaking point, it wasn't becoming demons. They were humans. And I would wake up, and from where our bed was, we had a sliding glass door to the backyard. It was a pretty decent sized backyard. And I would wake up and I'd look over and I would just see like people looking in the window. I would see people walking with like lanterns through the yard. And the first time it happened, I freaked out. Like, what the fuck is that? Yeah. Can you cuss, honey? Yeah. Okay, yeah. I was like, what the fuck is that? You clearly haven't watched all of our podcasts. No, I hadn't. Yeah. I was like, what the fuck is that? And of course, poor Landon, my wife, she would jump up like, what, what's going on? And I'm like, there's someone out back. Like, just stay inside, go in Grayson's room. Yeah. Just don't come outside. So I would grab my gun from the safe, run outside. Meanwhile, I'm still hallucinating. Oof. But the moment I would walk outside, there was like something different where it was like, I shouldn't be out here like this. I know this isn't real now. Yeah. Like you shifted into the reality. Exactly. But it's such a weird feeling, because when I wake up, I'm looking like I'm looking at you guys. Yeah. And I can't differentiate that. So I could be possibly sleeping. So you're sleepwalking, sort of. I would say sort of, but it's like your eyes are open. But you're conscious of it. I'm talking to my wife, you know. I'm opening the safe, like you're doing everything. That is fucking insane, bro. Yeah. Yeah, that's especially scary if you grabbed your gun. And that's when I hit my breaking point, because I'm like, this is not safe for me, for anyone. Because, what if I went out and there was someone just Well, and even if it wasn't like an entity, it was just someone, but you saw it through your night eyes. I saw a worse version of what it could have been, maybe. Right, yeah. Well, and I wonder, that's crazy. That's crazy. So, I used to have these
I guess they would be called night terrors. I don't know what they were, but I would wake up essentially the same time every night. And this happened for quite a while. I haven't had it happen in quite a while, years, but for a short period of time, it was very regular. So I don't know what it meant or what it was about, but I would literally wake up almost the same time every night. And I would be in fucking panic mode, feeling trapped, like in a room like this, feeling trapped, like I can't get out, and there was a fire. No clue where that. Now, when I was a kid, we did have house fires, but there was 2 house fires. One house completely burned down. I wasn't there. Another house had burned, but I wasn't there also. But I don't know that was related, but I felt like I was genuinely trapped, like I was in panic fucking mode trying to get out, and I couldn't find out until I woke up. I was awake, but then I woke up out of it.
So were you seeing flames and smoke?
I wasn't
and all
seeing
that?
flames. I was feeling trapped. Okay, I was like trapped inside a room, probably about this size, but there was fire outside of that room.
You just felt that feeling of being
like I couldn't get out. Yeah. So I wonder now with yours, obviously that's different, but it's kind of the same because I remember that feeling. I remember being awake and knowing until I just came out of it. That's the insane part about it, because you're like, this is real. This is really fucking happening. So have you ever seen like spirits while you're like this right here, just lucid and normal? Just...
One time.
Okay.
I would like to, I've done Ouija boards. I've done all that stuff. Obviously I think it's just, a fun game.
Yeah. It's never worked for me.
It's never worked for me. I've tried and tried. A friend and I actually went to a graveyard one time, tried it. We're like, if this doesn't work here, it doesn't work at all. So it doesn't work. But no, there was one time I'm trying to think where I was living at. I was at my dad's house for some reason, so I think I was living at his house. I was living at his house at the time. And I was completely awake. I was playing Xbox upstairs in my room. I was still in high school. And I was online with a friend, and it was probably like 11 to midnight. So it wasn't even that late as a high schooler. Yeah. And I told him like, hey, hang on, I'm going to run downstairs, go to the bathroom, and I'm going to grab something to eat. So I went downstairs, threw something in the microwave, went to the bathroom. And as I grabbed my food, I was walking up the stairs because it's kind of hard to explain without a map, but it was my room. There was like a common area with the stairs. Then there was a rec room with a second staircase. And so I went up that second staircase, and I just had this weird feeling like something was off. Yeah. So I just turned and looked, and from the kitchen is the living room, and he's got his TV up there, and there's this figure just standing next to the TV, and the TV's mounted on the wall, so it would have had to been 7 foot tall. Yeah. So it looked just like a human standing straight up with no features, just
like Slenderman type of human.
Exactly, but just completely black.
Yeah.
And I looked at that and I'm like, holy shit. And I took off running upstairs, ran through the rec room, ran by the second staircase area, went into my room, and I just went to slam the door, and I turned back and look, and right at the pool table, it's standing right there.
Really?
Slam the door, lock it. I put my headset back on. I'm like, you don't know what the fuck I just saw. Like, I'm tripping out.
Wow.
And I explained it to him, and he's just like, holy shit. But that was the only time that I've seen something that I can't explain.
Yeah. That you know that you saw.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Because they could be all over around you. You may be attracting these motherfuckers like crazy.
I'm starting to think so.
That Ouija board worked.
Actually, I can't say that that's the only time, because I've had weird experiences. So at my mom's house, there was this time in my room where above my bed there was 3 windows, and they're not single pane glass. There's like multi-pane, and the middle one just shattered. Just randomly one day shattered.
Which should be impossible with that type of window.
Exactly. And so mom had called me. I think I was staying at my dad's house that week, and she's like, hey, your window just shattered in your room. Like, isn't that super crazy? I'm getting someone out here to fix it. I'm like, oh, that is weird. Fast forward a couple weeks, shatters again. Same window.
Wow.
The company tried to say, the house is newer, so it's just settling.
Yeah.
Which probably, to be fair, was the case, but it was just such a a weird thing because it was during that time where I was using the Ouija boards. It was like,
right.
You kind of make yourself think, it's got to be connected.
Yeah.
And I've only had a few of those sleeping experiences there too.
So with each of these experiences in different locations, which doesn't seem coincidental to me. How old are these houses that you're in?
My dad's house, where I actually saw that figure standing, at the time it would have been less than 5 years old.
So brand new.
Yeah, brand new built house.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. The first house that we lived in was, I think it was built in like 2009.
Yeah, but you guys built that also, right?
No.
Your dad didn't build. Okay.
So back when I was a kid, that was like, I think they might have built that in 97. I mean, the first house that Lane and I moved into.
Gotcha. Yeah.
I think that was like a newer house when we lived there.
Okay.
And then the second house that we lived in, which I had the most experience, I think that one was built in 93 maybe.
Okay.
So yeah, relatively new. They're not like these 1950s farmhouses.
They're not old. Yeah. So I'm curious about that because it's like, okay, what happened in these houses, or what created the energy that allows you to be affected in that way?
I don't know if it's the house or if it's just me. Because
it's probably you.
Yeah, because like I said, I've had things at my mom's house that happen, and that was a newer neighborhood. She bought it brand new.
Yeah.
So I've kind of attributed it to mostly stress.
Okay.
Except for when I think about as a kid, I'm obviously stress free as a kid.
Yeah.
That's where it kind of conflicts a little bit.
Doesn't make sense. Yeah. So have you ever, and obviously you probably haven't, but now you probably can, where you can like literally go through your day and just gaze, just see what you see. Have you ever done that? Have you ever just been like anywhere and you just notice this creepy motherfucker staring at you that was from 100 years ago or anything like that? You know what I mean? So that's something to do. I mean, think about it. Cause if you're having these type of experiences, you're probably having them all the time and you just don't know.
So you're thinking like, these things are probably out there and I'm just not
You're just not focused because we're so busy in life.
I think if I did, I'd probably be way more concerned.
Yeah, right.
It's like,
but at the same time, you kind of asked for this, right? You've wanted it. You've researched it.
I didn't want it at first, but once it happens to you, you're open to it. It's just kind of cool. It's terrifying, but it's like, it's pretty unique.
I think you can probably get past the terrifying aspect if you just come, because I think I've probably seen things and just, it wasn't that. It wasn't that. It was something else. You know what I mean? But it's like, okay, this situation, it doesn't make sense that it would be something else type of thing.
Yeah.
That's crazy to me.
Especially if you're like on the fence or a believer of that kind of stuff. If something weird happens, it's automatic. That's what it is.
Oh yeah.
Just like, a Bigfoot hunter goes in the woods, they hear a owl. That's a Bigfoot calling at me.
Yeah, right. That being said, you hunt a lot.
I do.
And you're out in the woods a lot.
Yeah.
Do you believe in Sasquatch?
I mean,
hell yeah, see?
I got this Sasquatch tattoo. Shout out to Emma at Black Label.
There you are.
I just got that recently.
Hell yeah. Have you had any experiences?
I haven't. I wish I had, but no, I haven't.
Wait, before we move on to Sasquatch, you said you were at your breaking point.
Okay. Yes.
What did that mean for you?
That I literally, this was happening, like I said, 1 to 3 times a week.
Yeah.
It's so exhausting. It's so mentally draining. And it just came to the point, like I said, where it just wasn't safe.
Right.
Because I'm not just waking up, having a nightmare, covered in sweat, whatever, and going back to bed. It was, I'm getting out of bed now. I'm going to the safe. I'm grabbing weapons.
You're in protective mode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is a good thing, but it's also, what if I don't know, if.
What ifs are scary.
Exactly.
Yeah. So what did you do?
I moved. That helped a lot.
Okay.
So I don't know if being in town, there's something about just being a dad, and it's like I want to live on property.
Yeah.
And being in town, I think, was just such a stressor for me. We lived in a great neighborhood. It was nothing like that. But just knowing that like hundreds of cars are driving by every day, I don't know who any of these people are.
Right.
I get the connection now, though, as far as stress goes.
Exactly.
I get the connection because, and I'm not saying that this is made up, but you could have been manifesting something in a sense that, because clearly you don't want to live in town.
Right.
Clearly you're concerned about not the neighborhood necessarily, but the because I mean, even around here, this is a great neighborhood. Mm-hmm. We get shit all the time that happens. You know what I mean? I get that. So I could see something have been manifested, you know, because you're conscious, your subconscious is telling you, get the fuck out of town. Go get some property.
I agree.
Not to say that the situation wasn't real, but I can understand the connection now.
Yeah, why it happened.
That.
Yeah. And like I said, we've got 2 boys. And so the second one was born during all the fires that were happening of 2020. There was the local riots.
Yeah.
There was COVID. There was all kinds of bullshit going on. It's just like, I was like at my wit's end. And we actually just sold our house recently. We're in the process of building one right now.
Nice.
And since we moved out, took the last box out, I haven't had one since.
Really?
Wow. And now I do live in an old house because we're in the process of building. So I'm in like an old farmhouse on my dad's property.
Yeah.
Until our building gets done, but
nothing.
Haven't seen anything. No.
There? That's interesting.
So was it recently that you had the more vivid one? If it had to do with like moving and whatnot, and your
so like there was all kinds of different things. It wasn't just like seeing the figures. It was so once we had our second son, I had one baby monitor on my side of the bed. She had a baby monitor on her side. That way, it's like if you hear something, just turn over and check.
Yeah.
And so it would be a couple times a week. I'd look over and I just see something hovering over my kid.
Oh Lord.
Jeez.
I'd jump out of bed, scare the shit out of my wife.
Yeah.
There was one time I busted open our door, kicked down the kids' room.
Wow.
And there's nothing there. I'm like, fuck, like, why am I still doing this?
Yeah.
Like, get a grip almost.
Well, you're a dad.
I know. I didn't think it would be that stressful. I'm like, being a dad should be fun. And it is. It's a great time,
of course.
You know.
Your kids are adorable too.
Yeah. Thank you. But fuck, it's stressful.
Yeah. Luckily you have sons. It's still stressful, but that's crazy. That's crazy. So, now, tell me about your sleep paralysis.
Yeah, so that only happened one time, thankfully, ever. So it was in our most recent house, and I don't know what brought it on. Like there wasn't a certain event happening in the world or locally or within my life that was, extremely stressful at the time. But I was laying down just to sleep like normal, and I wake up, and at the foot of my bed, there's this guy standing there, and I'd never seen this guy before. He was bald on top. He had like straggly gray blonde hair on the sides, like these freaking 60s serial killer, glasses on, like the recent Dahmer, like Dahmer glasses.
Yeah. Creepy.
He had his shirt off, hairy chest, and he had jeans and a belt on, and he's just sitting there staring at me, and I'm like, fuck, I can't move. Like I'm just standing there like looking at him. And I didn't know what to do. I just started crying. And so tears are just streaming down my face. And I'm looking at this guy and he's getting closer and closer. And I'm just like, I can't move my face, but tears are just streaming. And he reaches his hand out and he grabs my neck. And the moment he grabbed my neck, I jump up and I'm out of it. The moment he touched me, I was up.
Wow.
But that was the only time I've had sleep paralysis. And that was, top 5 scariest moments of my life.
That would be horrible.
Yeah.
Was he like walking towards you or kind of just like
gliding?
Yeah, it was kind of gliding because he was at the foot of the bed and he just kind of like leaned onto me. Okay. Like he didn't fly or anything like that. He was just kind of leaning onto me and then grabbed my neck and then I shot up.
So do you think that, I mean, it's creepy as fuck, but the fact that you woke up right at that point, do you think that this entity was probably helping you get awake, or was it trying to scare you, do you think?
No, this guy was not friendly at all.
Yeah, okay.
If he had a shirt on, like a nice flannel or a button up, I'd be like, this guy's just trying to help me. But no, he was shirtless. I'm like, he's trying to... There's
party in the back here, all that shit. Ooh,
there's not something right with this guy.
Fuck. That is that would freak me out more than the other shit, I think. Oh, I mean the slithering wall creepers, those.
That's what they like. Literally, horror movies are made of.
Yeah, I know, and that could be another thing. Maybe I manifest it because I love the horror genre. I love the scary video games. Like
scarier the better for me.
Yeah, exactly. And the paranormal specifically have always been the scariest kind of movie for me because it's just real enough. It's just real enough to where it's like, this is like Paranormal Activity.
Yeah.
I remember watching that in theaters in high school.
Right?
The first one was the best. And it's like, fuck, this shit could happen.
Yeah. Have you seen Haunting of Hill House?
No, I haven't.
Fuck, bro. Best movie, best show. It's a series on Netflix. Best show I've seen in decades as far as very well put together. Completes the story, goes in a circle, but comes back around, connects all the dots, but the creepy level is up there and it's fucking good. But you have to watch it because you have to pay attention to everything. That's good.
I should watch that,
and then your shit will start happening again.
You don't have to move again.
It's creepy, but it's great.
I want to live in the country, so hook me up, man.
Exactly. No, that's cool. Yeah, I love that kind of stuff. And my wife we used to watch all that stuff together. But once we had kids, it's like the paranormal shit, exorcism, or not, that kind of like,
I
don't know what it's called.
Supernatural.
When they take over the body.
Yeah.
That just became too real after we had kids.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't even know how much of it I believe.
Because if you get possessed, it's
possessed. Yeah, exactly.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, look at some of the people walking around. They're fucking possessed. You know what I mean? There's some crazy motherfuckers out there that are like, they're sober and act like this. That's some creepy shit.
Yeah.
Sometimes that shit's scarier than the shit we're talking about right now.
It definitely is.
I mean, if it just takes a matter of like opening your mind to something different, if you're strung out, like your mind is already somewhere else, and then like it just opens that door for like seeing these crazy things. And like you see these motherfuckers walking down the street talking to something right, but they believe it to be right. So it's just really like wherever the state of your mind is, right.
Well,
whether the stress activates it for you, that part of your mind, which can make sense because if you're strung out on drugs, like I don't know.
Which you're not, but she's talking about people that are.
I'm just saying, like, the way that stress impacts your body, right? The way that drugs impact your body, the way that stress impacts your body. I mean, I can see the connection, though they're not the same.
Yeah. So are you any type of level of like religious or spiritual at all, or just
no? I feel like I believe that there's something else.
Yeah.
I'm not the kind to go to church.
Yeah.
I don't care if that's, if you do, I don't judge like that, but it's just like, it's just not for me.
It's not your thing.
Yeah.
So I was just curious because some people are, religious and some people aren't. And it's interesting because I'm very spiritual and I believe in all this because I think there's so many different things that we don't know about and different probably dimensions and probably levels and shit. And I think that I personally believe that everything is right here. We're just veiled to it. There's things that we can't see unless there's a veil, but certain people are more open to things, like probably you.
And if you get that sixth sense,
the people on all the drugs.
And that's the thing because it kind of makes that veil thinner.
Yeah. Well, and because scientifically we only use such a small part of our brain. I mean, so I'm sure that is part of it as well. Like whether you're shifting the part of your brain that you're using, whatever, right?
Yeah. And I've heard, but I've never tried. But there is some substance that can kind of open your mind up. DMT. Yeah. I would love to try it, but it's kind of a scary thought.
Well, and the cool, I've wanted to try that too. Because my buddies have talked about it. Like, apparently it's a really quick thing. I mean, so quick, it only lasts 5-10 minutes. But if you're in it, it can seem like a lifetime depending on where you're at. You know what I mean?
I don't know if I want that.
Yeah, right? So
I feel like there was a movie on that too, where he had his whole life and...
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's actually a show on Netflix about DMT.
Wow.
That they talk about. I kind of want to try it. I want to see. I want to test that theory. But I think setting is important.
Exactly.
You want to be around the right people. You want to be in the right environment. Sorry, I'm smoking you guys out.
Is DMT in the mushrooms, or is it something different?
DMT, I think, is like dimethyl.
Yeah.
I heard about it on a Joe Rogan podcast. I don't know exactly about it.
Dimethyltryptophan.
Yeah,
exactly.
Well, and your body releases it, so
Just
is
in
a
a bigger
natural
dose?
thing. Mm-hmm. Well, this is like a direct dose, I guess. And don't quote me on that because I don't know about it.
I don't either.
Yeah, I've never.
I think between like DMT and shrooms and acid, I would do the DMT.
For sure.
The mushrooms you're in for the long ride.
Really?
With mushrooms. And apparently acid, LSD, you're also in for the long ride. And that could be, just depends on who you are, who you're around, and setting again.
Yep.
So I don't recommend it, children. But, go ahead.
I would say, or the drugs.
Yeah. Say no to the drugs.
Say no to drugs.
Just smoke cigars.
Yeah.
Or not.
And drink Twisted Tea.
Shout out to Twisted Tea and cigars.
Yeah.
Drink your water.
So do you do any type? Okay, no. Let's go back to Sasquatch.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I got it.
No, don't be sorry because I got way the fuck off on that one. It was like way off the topic. What about UFOs?
You never finished Sasquatch.
Well, yeah, but being out in the woods,
We'll circle back to that later.
Yeah,
Okay.
but a lot of people think that Sasquatch is.
I don't think I agree with that.
Part and parcel. Okay.
Is
Yeah.
what?
Well, there's a theory that like say Sasquatch can like travel interdimensionally, or he is dropped off by aliens. He's an alien entity, whatever.
Oh, okay.
There's a lot of theories, inner Earth stuff like that.
Yeah, I've heard those where it's like, you can kind of shapeshift. And I don't think I believe any of that kind of stuff when it comes to Sasquatch. I don't even know if I 100% believe in Sasquatch.
Yeah.
I just love the idea of it.
Yeah, me too.
You know, it's like the fact that you can go out in the woods and not only have to worry about a cougar and a bear, but there could be this 7 foot tall, fucking hairy man beast thing running around too.
Right.
He's nice though.
I don't know.
Unless you
I don't want to find out.
Yeah. So and you do spend a lot of time in the woods. You do hunt. So that's probably evidence number one of why you don't believe in Foley, correct?
Yeah, exactly.
Because you are out there so much.
Yeah, and I've heard, like I mentioned earlier, I've heard the sounds where it's like if I was Sasquatch hunting and I heard that howl out there, I'd be like, oh, that's a Sasquatch.
Yeah.
But it's like I'm out there elk hunting, I'm like, oh, that's a coyote or that's a owl, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I feel like it all
it's
depends
not
on
distinctly different where you're saying, oh, that being said, there's also theories that Sasquatch can mimic sounds.
Yeah, and that could be too.
Those just sound like excuses.
Well, they're justifiers. They are justifiers.
Right,
that's the problem.
Yeah.
Well, because I watch these shows, and I was talking about this on a podcast before, where you watch these shows, the Sasquatch hunters, they always seem to find these beds and the boards that are up in different angles and shit like that, but they're never finding fur. This motherfucker is covered in fur. How do you not find at least one strand usable? They say they have it. Where the fuck is it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
If you find a bed, if you find where it's been bedded down, that thing, my dog laid there for about 10 minutes. Look how much hair is there. Yeah, right? So
yeah, he's going to leave a trace.
He's going to leave something.
You know, there's rumors they bury their dead like humans do.
Yeah.
They get rid of the evidence. I don't know.
Yeah.
I would love there to be a Sasquatch.
I would too.
You know, I think the state of Washington has it as a protected species.
Really?
So
that makes sense.
Either they know something, or they suspect something, or they're just saying you can't go out there and shoot a bear and say, "Well, I thought it was a Sasquatch."
Yeah. Well, and in funny you mentioned the state of Washington because Mount St. Helens. Mm-hmm. So there was a thing on Netflix, or not Netflix, but on YouTube that I watched that when St. Helens blew, they found a lot of Sasquatch bodies.
Really?
And the government came in and hit them and took them. For whatever reason. Why would you hide? I don't know why you would hide that fact, but if they are an intelligent being, you know, it does. I don't know that it gives or takes away from organized religion or not, or whatever the fear is, that the government wanted to hide that for some reason.
Unless it has the technology, like you were saying, to travel interdimensionally. Yes. And it's like they're trying to use it as a weapon.
That shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like Chewbacca.
Yeah. Yeah. True.
Just like Chewbacca.
Just like. So that segueing onto UFOs, do you believe in, because you're out there again, you're out where there's no, you know, lights of the city lights and shit like that.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen anything like that?
Just recently we went to this thing at Wildlife Safari where it was it's called like the Roar and Snore.
Okay.
Pretty much you can bring a tent, or we brought a trailer. We didn't know everyone was going to be tent camping.
Oh.
But you stay in the lion cage. The lions are moved.
Yeah.
And so, we're the only ones. We brought a trailer. Everyone else is tent camping. I'm like, I'm not
Bougie
sleeping in a tent.
motherfuckers.
Yeah, I'm not sleeping in a tent with any lions out here. But anyways, we were sitting out by the fire, and all of a sudden we see this string of lights. Boom, 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 boom. Everyone's like, "Oh fuck!" Like, what is that? It turned out to be Elon and Starlink. Yeah. I'm like, damn it, I thought that was it.
Yeah. I actually saw that too. We went, I think we went Eastern Oregon, almost to Washington, Eastern Oregon area. Yeah, I think it was Eastern Oregon. And we saw the same thing. Lights, a bunch of lights. And then it just all of a sudden just disappeared.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the fuck? And then, of course, it ended up being Starlink.
Yeah, exactly. And even that in itself was cool to see.
Yeah.
They're so uniform. And
yeah. It was insane. My buddy Kyle actually saw one a few weeks ago here in town. It would have been kind of off the Pleasant Hill skyline and Eastern Springfield skyline is what he said. And of course I went out and looked, and then I sent him a link to Starlink, and he's like, yeah, that's probably what that was.
So are they launching him local?
I don't think they're launching him. I think that they're just, you can see him up in the sky periodically. So maybe, I mean,
because the same thing is we saw them all lit up, and all of a sudden they just go dim and disappear. So I'm like, oh, he must have just launched them.
Yeah.
But
I'm not sure. Works. But that's pretty much that with the UFOs.
That's as close as I personally seen. There was one day Dad and I were heading out to the woods to go deer hunting. I think we were heading out from Parkway to 58. And we were going to Cottage Grove to go deer hunting. And it was early in the morning, so probably like, 5-ish in the morning. So I was asleep. I was still a young kid. And he was just like, what was that? And I jump up, and he saw something on the skyline. And so I had him explain it to me, and he said it was just like this, he's like, I don't know. It was just like this light just zoomed across. Yeah. And it wasn't a plane. Like, it was too fast, stuff like that. And so we turned the radio on, and the local 93.3, they were talking about, we're getting reports about this thing. So I knew after I heard that, because I'm like, oh no, you're just seeing stuff.
Yeah.
So after they were like, we're getting reports of people seeing this weird thing in the sky.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, well, you did see something.
Yeah.
I never followed up and found out what it was, but
it was probably something. Now, I've seen stuff multiple times in our skies right here, right around here. When I was living kind of over closer by Walmart, over that area, there we were taking a walk. We used to walk around with the kids and Romeo when he was alive. And up in it would have been looking east, up in the sky, I saw, and I've seen this on YouTube multiple times since then. So I know people have been seeing across the country the same exact thing. So it was like, essentially it was like three or four different round yellowish lights. I can't even, there's no color in here, but they were more of a yellow tone than a white tone. And it was the weirdest thing because they would be in this uniform position, and it was, I think they were coming down, going over, coming down and disappearing, and then one right after the other. And then ultimately there was about 5 that I saw, and it was just like, so they were like, it would just disappear. Like they were loading into, like, say, a mothership that I couldn't see. All I could see is the globe lights.
Oh, wow.
But they were lined up, and it would come down slightly and then just be gone. And and I was like, I was literally staring at that happening. There was another time where I was looking out this yard, out that way, which is, what is that, west? And it was probably, I want to say it was about 5 o'clock in the morning. I was letting my dog out, and I was standing outside with him. I was looking up in the sky, and I saw another, and it wasn't a planet, it wasn't a star, and it was not exactly round, and it was just kind of slowly kind of moving. I got my camera and I started to record it, and of course you can't record those things.
Yeah.
I don't know what kind of technology, obviously they're highly advanced. The technology that it has, whatever it has, I think that these things are advanced enough, obviously, that they don't allow our cameras to really pick shit up.
Right.
If they don't want to be seen, you're not going to record them. You're going to see these little fuzzy circles or whatever, and it didn't seem like it was too far off. So I should have been able to zoom in on it, and it looked normal, but it didn't. And it just kind of was moving in the sky and then gone.
And there's nothing else you could say like, oh, it could have been this.
No, because I skywatch all the time.
Yeah.
You see the satellites going across, you see them moving, you see the planes, you see all this, you see all that. And it's like, there's certain things that are out there that's like, what the hell is that? You know what I mean?
It was just too uniform. The way
it was too uniform, and it just didn't make any sense. So, like the ones over there, there's no way it was a flare. Mm-hmm. There's no way. And I've actually seen videos that people took that looked exactly the same. Exactly the same. I'm like, well, that happened here. So there's stuff up there. What is it?
There's obviously a reason they're not contacting people, right?
I think they probably are.
Just observing.
I think it's probably observing. Whatever. Who knows?
Like you said, they're obviously more advanced that they can do interplanetary travel like that.
Absolutely.
That's crazy.
It's just insane to me but I think that we're such a young type of civilization, and it's like,
for sure,
evolve past hating each other, and then we'll touch base with you.
Yeah, I know. There's so many bigger goals than being on this side or that side.
Right.
Like we could be traveling space.
We could be going interdimensionally.
I completely agree.
Do you believe in inner Earth?
I don't know if I know what that is.
So there's a theory that there's actually civilization or life or everything that we have out here inside. If you've never heard of it, you probably don't believe in it.
No, I haven't heard of it.
Okay.
It sounds interesting. What inside of what?
Inside of our planet.
So there's an Earth in the Earth.
Basically.
Okay.
There's
Do you believe in it?
I think I'm on the fence with that one. I think that there's always that possibility. I know that what the hell, Sergeant, damn it, I just forgot his name. Anyways, I'll send you a link to the guy where he actually was searching for the end of, or the wall of Antarctica. And they were actually flying on a plane, and they got pulled into by some, force. Their plane literally got pulled inside an inner Earth, and he talked to and all kinds of things with aliens, I guess. Or
you guys talk about this in one of the earlier podcasts.
Yeah. God, I can't think of what his name is right now. Sergeant
Ryan and
Ryan and
Jordan?
I don't know if Jordan. Maybe.
I remember hearing about it because I had never heard of inner Earth either.
What's your stance on it?
I don't believe in it.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking.
It's crazy.
It's
crazy.
Yeah.
There's so many crazy theories out there.
And you said the wall of Antarctica? So is that like a flat Earth thing?
So that's more of a flat Earth thing.
Okay. Is that something that you follow too?
I don't know. I know that NASA lies about everything they put out. That's true. Every single thing that they put out is CGI, green screen, and Photoshop. So if they were showing us real shit, why would they need to do any of that? You know what I mean? We need to see real stuff so we can know real stuff.
Yeah.
So what are
like
some
form our own opinion?
Yeah. What are some of the things that you believe in that are kind of out there?
I think aliens. I want to believe in Bigfoot, ghosts. Like that's as far as it goes.
Yeah.
I don't believe any of the theory. Like flat Earth or so. I don't subscribe to that.
Yeah.
You could just be a Sasquatch believer.
Yeah.
Just don't want to believe.
I know.
Just be there.
I want to believe.
Give me some of that hair.
Yeah, man.
I know. I'm trying to grow mine out like him.
Party
too.
in the back.
That's right.
Hell yeah.
That's right.
Cool. So, is there anything else you got?
I don't think so.
Okay. Cool, man. That was awesome. That's scary shit.
It is.
That's some scary shit. So, go ahead.
I was just agreeing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So, you haven't had any of that stuff recently, or since you guys are living out further out of the city?
Since we moved, nothing.
Okay.
Thankfully, since we moved, nothing. I've had more crazy, vivid dreams than I have before.
Yeah.
But it's all like they used to be when I was a kid. It was.
Is that recently, like that you've had the crazy, vivid dreams?
It was. Are you talking about like the hallucinations?
No, just you said you've had crazy, vivid dreams.
Yeah, those are recent. Like since I moved from my second house to where I'm at now.
Is there anything in those dreams that you can tell us about?
It's just like the most random stuff. Like I have this reoccurring dream that I'm late for class.
Okay.
Which is so random. And it's always at Lane Community College, which I went to for like a semester.
Yeah.
And I found out it wasn't for me. And it's like I have this reoccurring dream all the time that I'm running late for class. And it's this overwhelming fear of panic, which is like, because I'm not only late for class, I'm walking in and I have no idea where the class is. Because every time the school's a different layout.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's at Lane, sometimes it's at my old high school, and
wow,
it's crazy. Yeah. So I know I've listened to the last one, and you said you can interpret.
Well, I mean, I loosely.
So what do you think about like the feeling of?
Well, I think that
being lost.
I think that there's stuff about that says that you're. And I talked to Mickey about this with her thing. Is I think a lot of times we get stuck in a position where we don't feel like we're fully in control. Mm-hmm. And we're afraid of certain things that may be coming. So we resort to, in our dreams, I think being lost means we have no real direction. Mm-hmm. And if you feel like you're late to something, I feel like there's something about that you haven't captured, something that you haven't fulfilled necessarily. Like there's something that you want to accomplish or achieve or get to that you haven't, or you're not able to right now.
Yeah.
I mean, you may have to process that one, but but it seems to me like cause you're late and it's in some sort of formal structure. Mm-hmm. So who knows what that could mean. It's
always a school, and it's always, I don't know where I'm going. I'm running late.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy.
So is there something that you're supposed to be learning? I mean, is there like
in particular, no
a goal? Okay.
Huh. I want to learn every day, but
yeah.
Yeah,
Life is all about learning.
Exactly. I don't think there's anything in particular.
But if you're late always, then there's something that you think that you feel like you've missed out on, maybe that you've missed out on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That you may have to think about that one, I guess. But I think that if you start to journal your dreams, they'll start to make sense to you.
I used to.
Yeah. Cool.
Because. And that could be another reason I have such vivid experiences.
I believe that.
Is because I was doing that for a while, but it just, sometimes you wake up and you're like, the most random thing happened and you only remember a fragment of it. So it's like, is it even worth it?
Oh, well, it is. I think it is, because I think that this could connect to that, which connected to that.
Okay.
If that makes sense to you.
So you're not just focusing on the one, it's the whole picture.
It's a bigger picture.
Yeah.
I think it's a puzzle. There's a piece here, there's a piece there, and that's where these symbols actually make sense when you could put it together. So like if you go back a year, because I think that we dream future. Okay. A lot of times, like what's in our dreams right now that doesn't make sense right now, it's because it's something that's ahead of us that we're able to actually predict if we really get into dream journaling and understanding the symbols. I think if you went back to your old dream journals and you read something, that shit might ring true to now.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
So go back and look at it, because it could help you, and you should still journal, because if you're having vivid dreams, you're having them for a reason. Because a lot of people forget their dreams, and I think a lot of people also miss out on opportunities because they don't necessarily believe that they're being shown something that could be helpful to them in dreams.
Yeah. No, honestly, I look forward to going to sleep every night because it's a new experience every time.
Hell yeah.
There was a time where I
feared it.
I feared going to bed. Now I love it, because it's like I'm not worried about waking up and seeing these things crawling. I'm like, I'm gonna be on a beach.
There you go. Yeah.
And see this crazy, something funny instead of something scary.
Yeah. I think you should get back to dream journaling though, for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So is that something that you do?
I haven't done it for a while, but I got books, journals of dreams.
Wow.
A lot. I actually do want to get back into it. It's one of those things
I'm sure there's an app for it too. Like if you don't want to handwrite, I'm sure there's an app where you can just.
Oh, you just record it too.
Do it with ease.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Voice memo. That would actually probably be best.
Yeah.
Voice memo.
I feel like I would spend so much time typing that I would forget. Whereas like you could just ramble on.
Yeah. Just wake up and roll it like, oh, this happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're like, beer.
Yep. And then when and then when something else pops into your head, you have to, because I got to the point where I was like writing, and then something else I would remember, and I'd have to put it in this little
that's
in
what
the
I'm
margins.
saying. So I think that if you could just, because we can speak so much faster than we can write or type.
Yeah.
For the most part. Most
absolutely.
people can.
Well, thank you for coming, man.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys having
really
me.
appreciate it. Shout out your podcast again.
So 541 Sports.
Hell yeah. Cool.
Yeah, it's fun. So give it a follow if you haven't yet, and check it out.
We'll link that up, man.
Appreciate it.
We'll put you on. And when you guys, now you're on YouTube right now?
Yes, we are.
Okay, cool. We'll have to get your link for that. Cool. I appreciate you, bro.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, man.